All over YouTube, we are talking about how luxury is dying, how people are not buying luxury anymore. Well, hi guys, and welcome to another video. So finally I got my first Hermes thing from an actual boutique, because I have quite a lot of Hermes H click bracelets. I have them in many different colors, but most of them I bought either pre-loved or I ordered them online. So I never actually bought anything in Hermes boutique. It wasn't so much intimidation as just the prices in Hermes are a bit too high for my budget. So I didn't really look into Hermes that much, but there was one thing that I knew I could afford and I always wanted. And this year when I was there for Cannes Film Festival, I actually walked into the boutique and I got something that I wanted for quite a long time. So we're gonna do the unboxing first, and then I'm gonna tell you a story. If you're interested in all the, like how the boutique experience was, how many people were there and everything else. But for those of you who just wanna see what I bought, I'm gonna do the unboxing first. And this is an actual unboxing because they wrapped it nicely in the boutique. I took it home. This is why the bag is slightly wrinkled because, it was in my bag for quite a long time. I drive from Cannes to my home. It's like a 10-hour drive, and even though this was in a car, yeah, it got squished a bit, but whatever is inside, it's still intact, and this is the main part. I'm pretty sure you know by now that this is not a bag. This is something much smaller, but it's not a bracelet, but something bigger. I really like Hermes packaging, and I think this kind of like fabric bow is so cool, because this thing, that when it says Hermes and you have like a little horse there, this is actually embossed. For those of you who never bought anything there, this is not just printed. You can actually feel it. It's like a 3D thing. Even the ribbon feels luxurious. This is one of the things why I always like shopping luxury items. It's not the main reason, obviously, but I like the nice packaging, and this little ribbon is really, really something special. Okay, if you want to guess what's in here, like pause the video now and comment below what do you think it's in there. I'm not going to force you to guess a color because that's going to be a bit more tricky, but I'm pretty sure from the size of the box you're going to know what's in there. So pause, right, come back. You ready? So from this size it could be like an SLG, or it could be I'm trying to unbox this without anything falling out, and I think now you know exactly what's in there. And I'm gonna start with a buckle. So if you guessed that I bought a belt, you guessed right. Well done you. So I went for classic gold. I was debating with myself between yellow gold and rose gold. And because I wear mostly yellow gold jewelry, it kind of makes sense to go for yellow gold belt as well. It was never a question of silver or platinum for me. It was always between gold and rose gold. So this is the buckle. And now we're gonna take out the belt. So I took off-white and classic tan on the other side. This is, I'm trying to remember which leather, because I'm really no expert on Hermes leathers, but I think this might be like Epsom, I think. I'm not sure, but if you are like a Hermes qualified person who like knows a lot about their leathers, you can write below which leather do you think this is. It is a bit pebbled, you can see, so it's not like smooth. This was my first request to the sales associate. I said, I don't want the smooth white leather. I want it to be pebbled because it looks much nicer and much more luxurious. In other colors, yes, but in white, I prefer this kind of like pebbled look. And of course, you want like a tan usual one. This is like your basic belt. They will go probably with anything, especially like, let's say from like March to November, maybe not exactly winter, but you can actually, turn it just on the tan side, and there you go. So I had a bit of a, trying to find which side would actually looks nicer, how you put the buckle in. And I like it the way that you start on this side. So this part here actually sticks out. And then you just fix this one underneath or like through the hoop, and then this is the final look. And it's much nicer, of course, if you have this part sticking out than the other. It is a bit of a puzzle, especially because this is my first Hermes belt. So I needed a bit of a kind of like try on how to make this work. And at the end of the leather, you have Hermes stamp as well. So this is kind of like a subtle thing to tell you that this is actually an Hermes belt. If you are buying online, and if it's not Hermes site, watch out for this stamp, because this, I think, is one of the giveaways, because it's really not that easy to see. And also, of course, the material of the buckle. But this you cannot tell from the webpage. You have to kind of feel it in person. But it definitely feels like a quality buckle, and I'm really happy with this belt. And I can't wait to pair it with all my summer outfits. I'm gonna show you some styles with this belt in future videos. I'm not gonna do a styling today because I don't have time. Sadly, I'm late as usual, because I always leave like filming to the last minute, and then I check the clock and it's like, oh no, I really have to run. So I'm not gonna do styles today. This is my purchase from Cannes, and these are the protective bags for the belt. And now I'm going to tell you why I titled this video that Hermes is doing just fine. We did a couple of fashion news videos in this year. I talked about Hermes doing okay as compared to, let's say, Chanel and some other brands who looks like they are not earning as much as they used to. Well, I don't know if you've ever been to Cannes, but Hermes has multiple boutiques, and the one that it's on Croisette, it's not like the biggest one. I would say it's like on the small size, but it's still not small. So you have like when you walk in, you have like, I think they're like bracelets and small leather goods on the left side, and then you have shoes and some scarves and things like that on the right. And then in the back, you have tables for your appointment if you're there for leather goods, especially bags. And it's all one floor. It's not like a huge store, but it is Cannes, and it's right next to Palais, where it's like the most traffic, especially during the festival. So it makes sense that it will be frequented by people who actually want to buy Hermes, that they will go to this particular boutique. So when I walked in, it was crowded. It was not like there was a lot of people. It was actually crowded. So I didn't film anything. I don't know if you are allowed to film or not, but there were so many people that it was just impossible to film anything without actually getting someone's face in camera. When I'm filming in the street, like they can see the camera. I can see the people not, want to be in the camera. So I try to be considerate and I'd film them. But in a store, when it's like so many people, it's really difficult to maneuver your camera or your phone without actually accidentally getting someone on camera. And I didn't want to have a footage with like a little tiny piece of Hermes products and then people all around it. So that was like my first surprise, because I really, especially since, all over YouTube, we are talking about how luxury is dying, how people are not buying luxury anymore. Well, I mean, I haven't been to all of the luxury boutiques in Cannes, but I've been to Hermes and I've been to Dior. Dior was not crowded, but it was not empty either. So I really started thinking, like, are we here on YouTube in some sort of a bubble that we don't really represent, let's say, what people are actually buying? Because I saw it in Chanel. I saw it in Chanel in multiple boutiques in Paris, in Vienna, in Venice, that it was practically empty. But I guess that was just Chanel. I don't know. It was just at the time when I was there was really not a lot of people there. And Hermes was packed. So I had to wait for, I would say, a few minutes, maybe 5 to 6 minutes for an essay to arrive. And I told her that I will try to get a belt first. And if I don't like a belt, then I'm going to go for a Kelly bracelet, but I'm definitely not getting both. So it's like one or the other. And we tried belt first. Now, with bags, you can't really say, oh, I want this and this bag, and you get this exact bag. This is not how Hermes works. But with belts, I guess it does, because I actually told her specifically, I need off-white, not smooth leather belt with a gold hardware. And of course, tan on the back. I don't know if they do other colors. I think all of their belts are like tan on the back on the other side. But I didn't even say that. I thought it was just a given that it's going to be 10. They had like some displays of belts, like different widths and different combinations of hardware. But this particular one was not actually on display. I didn't see like this off-white one that I wanted. So she said, I'm going to go and check. So she went back in the storage and she returned quite quickly. I think it was a few minutes again. I think I was just checking some of the H-click bracelets, just kind of trying to see if there are like any colors left that I still like and I haven't gotten yet, because I do love that bracelet a lot and I have them in many, many colors. And she was back really fast. And she said, when I told her what I wanted, she was like, I'm going to check what I have. So it was, again, like, I'm going to check my stock. It wasn't like, yes, we have it in the back, like she didn't know. But, you know, she brought it out. It was not a question of like, oh, maybe you would prefer this one. It was exactly the one that I wanted. So at least with belts, Hermes works kind of like a normal store, let's say, that you actually can get exactly what you want, at least with other items, not as, of course, with like Kellys and Birkins and whatnot, the quarter bags. So I was really happy, but I didn't really stay that long, because it was really, again, so many people in there that it really was not... It was not like a luxurious experience. I mean, the lady, the essay was really nice. She let me try on the belt. We discussed if maybe, you know, because I said that I'm going to mainly wear it in my waist, but I do want it to fit lower waist as well. Not hips, but like lower waist. So we were debating if it's maybe better to take it like a shorter belt or a longer belt. So we had like a nice discussion, and it was a nice experience in that respect. But because there were so many people, I didn't feel like... I want to sit down and just chat. So if my goal was not to actually buy this particular belt, I don't think I would have bought anything, because it was just not nice to be in there with so many people. It felt like, you know, 50 off at Zara on Saturday when everybody goes there. So that kind of surprised me, because most of the luxury stores, when they have too many people, you have to wait outside for your line. So that surprised me that they actually let so many people at the same time in there. But, you know, overall, it was a nice experience. I got exactly what I wanted. The price was what I expected, what I was, you know, mentioned online. So I knew beforehand how much I'm going to pay for this belt. And, you know, I was happy at the end of the day. But like I said, I didn't stay too long, just because there were just way too many people in there. Now, the way how Hermes belts work, if you want to buy them online, I think you can. I think you can actually buy them online as well if you don't have a boutique near you. And the way it works, like you buy a buckle and you buy a belt. So it's not like a belt with a buckle, but you buy one and you buy the other and you combine whichever one you want. And, you know, before you buy, just like I said before, when we were like trying to decide which length to take, just think about if you want to have it for waist or hips, then decide, of course, which length you want. So this belt, I mean, you know, it's Hermes prices, so obviously it's overpriced for what it is. But the thing is, like, it's just such a classic belt, and I really have a thing for designer belts. I mean, when Gucci, this GG belt came out, I fell in love with this belt immediately. So, you know, throughout the years, I got it in many different colors, and it's still one of my favorite belts when I want to wear like a chunky, really noticeable belt. But then lately I started buying more thinner belts, because I kind of changed a bit my style sometimes, and this kind of thick GG belt doesn't really work with that. And I have, you know, Christian Dior belt. I think there's like one Roberto Cavalli belt, and now I have Hermes belt. And I'm really, really happy, because this is a classic. And like I said, you can actually wear it with so many different things, and it instantly makes your outfit more classic. So to me, in my book, that's definitely worth the investment. So that was like my main shopping in Cannes. Another thing I wanted to do, I went to Galeries Lafayette in Paris. This is like really, really lovely, great, big shopping center in this old building with glass roof and very luxurious, and it's just amazing. So I know that they have a little Galeries Lafayette in Cannes as well, but this one was a bit disappointing. So I think the highest brand in there was like Michael Kors, and I think they had some Tommy Hilfiger and some brands I've never heard of, but it was definitely not a luxury department store by far. And so I just did like a quick check, like to see what they have in there. I think I checked this Marc Jacobs tote, but since I have Cezanne bag, Justine bag works the same way, so it doesn't really make sense to get something similar again. And then another thing that I got that I'm going to show you is this white jumpsuit. Now, this is actually mango. And one of the things that I mentioned a couple of times now is that it's very crucial to have a good seamstress or to know how to sew yourself. Because a lot of times you can get an item for a really good price, but the fit will not be okay. And if you can fix that with a few adjustments, you're gonna elevate your look for a lot less money than if you actually buy like a designer item. It doesn't work always, obviously. Of course, sometimes we have to pay more. This is just how it is. But I stated many times that I am a savvy shopper. I want to be a smart shopper as well. And I don't want to buy items that either don't look really, really nice on me, never mind the price, and I want to have a perfect fit. And with some brands, that's, you know, it works. Like some brands, the fit that you know, the size you have, it's going to fit you perfectly. With other brands, not so much. And, you know, Zara is a perfect example of that, because Zara is such a hit or miss that it's just unbelievable. Like, I actually have a lot of cool items from Zara that, unless you know that they are from Zara, you could never guess they're Zara. And then you have others which, yeah, they went back immediately. So, you know, mango is slightly in the same category as that goes. So this jumpsuit was insanely long. It was at least 50 centimeters too long. I don't know what they were doing with this, because this is white. So even if they have designs when you have like your trousers dragging on the floor, I seriously doubt that anybody would want to walk around dragging white trousers on the floor, unless you only wear it for like a few meters on the red carpet, and even that is not exactly 100% clean for white trousers. I don't see a point in that. And I also hated that it doesn't have pockets, because even though I don't mind, I have jumpsuits without pockets, but for white one, it just didn't seem right. So I said, okay, I need pockets. So what we did, me and my seamstress, because this was so long, and because of course you need a proper material to make pockets, the material that we cut away at the bottom we used to make pockets. And now it's just perfect. The length, the way it feels. We didn't have to change anything else. We just shortened it and made pockets. And this jumpsuit was around 50 euros, and I paid like 25 or something like that for the seamstress. So, you know, it was still under 100 euros, and now I have a perfect jumpsuit. And this is always my tip. If you can, find a good seamstress. Whenever you buy something and you want to alter it, go to the same person, because then they will know your style, they will know your size, they will know what you wish. And you will end up with actually really good looking items, even though if you buy them sometimes and you're not sure if how the fit will be, because again, sometimes, you know, the fit is just off. The length that we did is going to fit heels or platforms. I can't really wear this with flats, but I usually don't, unless it's like a sporty one, I usually don't wear jumpsuits with flats, because it's just, I like the height with this type of garment. So this was my shopping experience with Hermes and a few other items that I managed to get in Cannes. And I hope you're gonna have a lovely day, and of course I will see you in the next video.